This is definitely our winner today, Nathan. This is definitely the username of the day. Whip It writes in, how can I use the proximity principle to help my special needs children find jobs? Okay, this is great. I love this. You don't use it any differently than anybody else. It's just that you're going to be doing it most likely on behalf of your child, but I would take your child with you when you can. See, I can't stand the whole, well, we use this term disabled, and I think it's differently abled. And so if I had a special needs child, I would be using all of my relationships, my web of connections, because they probably can't do it for themselves. So you use the proximity principle for them, but you're the one doing it. What do they want to do? So let's get around people, or what can they do? And let's get around people that are doing that. And in places where it's happening, and take them with you. I wish I had a better example. I wish I could be on the phone with you, because if I knew what the target was, you say, okay, well, these are the things that my child can do and kind of wants to do. And they have these differently abled opportunities. They can contribute. And here's where we want to contribute. And so then we would begin to identify, well, who are the people and the places that would allow your child the opportunity to step into that. And so you go right after it. But I would take the child with you as much as I could. I have a dear friend who, his oldest son has Down syndrome. And I remember when he was born, it was quite a shock to everybody at first, because that's just kind of a shocking thing. You don't expect that. And then you find out, and then there's a lot of fear that's attached to the unknowns of what could be the health challenges and all the things that come with it. And I remember after he was born and he becomes a toddler, and, you just fall in love with this kid, and I have a special place in my heart for all people that have Down syndrome, because I've experienced relationship with this young man. And we would go support him and his family at this event called Buddy Walk. And it was all these beautiful adults and children that have Down syndrome. And I'm going to tell you something. I'll never forget that experience of being in that community and around all those wonderful human beings. And you're going, how would anybody ever look at them and say that they don't have just as much value as anybody else? They're the most joyous, kind-hearted, loving people on the planet. We should all be like those folks. And they do have contributions that they can make. And so I wouldn't be ashamed. I'd be proud, and I'd take that child with me, whatever their special need is, whatever the world classifies. Well, this is a special need, but I think they're special. I think they have a contribution to make, and I would take them with you. When you're making those connections, and it's almost like addressing the elephant in the room, but taking all the oxygen out of it. We've had callers on the show before who had Asperger's syndrome. We had a lady called in whose husband had a major brain injury, and it affected his social skills. And they would say, Ken, what do I do to help them win in interviews? And I'd say, have them address it right up front. Hey, by the way, I have Asperger's syndrome, and I'm going to seem abnormal to you at multiple times during this conversation. But A, I'm aware of it. B, it doesn't affect me and my ability to do my job well. It just comes with some things that we got to mitigate and we got to be aware of. And the point is to humanize it, because anybody who's ever had a family member or a friend with special needs knows how amazing those people are. And when you get close to them and you meet them and you talk with them and you begin to engage with them, you like them, then you love them. And now every time you see them, even though strangers might look at them and have an abnormal first impression, anybody who's done life with a person with special needs knows that it gets to be very normal, because they're a human. You love them. And you know they can do something. So I would embrace it. Take them with you on all the calls that you make, the personal meetings, the coffee, the lunch. Hey, this is my son. This is my daughter. And let's humanize it, and let's address the tension. And by addressing the tension, guess what happens? The tension goes away.